Game 3, downtown Los Angeles, California, Crypto.com arena. Phoenix Suns versus Los Angeles Clippers. A Clippers team without Paul George. And then news came this morning that they would be without Kawhi Leonard. Instantly, the odds went from Suns 2.5-point favorites to 7.5-point favorites. But those pesky Clippers put up a fight in this game with Norman Powell scoring 42 points. Russell Westbrook scoring 30, 72 points combined by those two alone. But it wasn't enough to beat the Phoenix Suns, and more importantly, the 45 points put forth by Devin Booker as the Phoenix Suns win Game 3 by a final score of 129-124 and take a Game 3 win and a 2-1 series lead. So, Matthew, as you were watching this game, knowing that there's no – I'm not even going to ask you – I was just about to ask you, Matthew, I was going to ask a question.
I think this is you did that last time too, didn't you? Last pod, you asked me the same question twice.
It's the playoffs.
If you're not prepared for these pods, man, I'll get someone else. All right. You're just that replaceable. So let me tell you. Oh man.
How you feeling?
I don't know. Does it feel like the playoffs really? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't feel very good, but we got the win. That's all that matters.
I feel great. We got the win. We got the win.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm very positive. Very, very good outlook on these playoffs.
Oh, shit.
2-1.
Oh, shit. This is going to be fun, isn't it?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I really am. I'm not excited. Like, I feel like Booker's fucking amazing and the surrounding cast is old and, or they're infants. I don't even know what's going on around them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you play against a Kawhi-less and a Paul George-less team, your expectations are probably higher. But this is playoff basketball. This is physical basketball. And there's plenty that we're going to talk about on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. So If you happen to be joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, we appreciate it. Hit a thumbs up while you're hanging out with us. Why don't you? If you're listening later, pop on. And I'll tell you this. This is what's interesting, Matthew. I don't know if you know the analytics on this. 54% of all of our listeners podcast and 89% on mobile. So what that's telling me is 54% of you are listening to this on an Apple podcast phone right now. So go ahead. Give us a 5-star review. Come on, man. Do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Well, I'll tell you what. It's a playoff win. So I'm chugging a beer because all you should. I'm going to pour it into a glass.
Chug it, everybody.
Form, by the way. And we're gonna be chugging with the fellas tonight, ladies and gents.
Yeah, well deserved, guys. Well deserved.
I can tell by the tone.
Chug it down.
I can tell by your tone. I can tell by your tone. Yeah, you have a tone. You're like, you're like,
don't tell me you enjoyed it. I'm just joking. Go ahead, chug it. Let me watch it. Chug
you're like this team that was up 13 points the majority of the fourth, like got pushed a little bit at the end, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. So
no, I'm good.
Well, chug them if you got them, my friends. And while I'm doing that, Matthew will read you the latest promo from DraftKings or whatever.
DraftKings, where you go and ruin your family. Don't bet on anything because it's very bad for your mental health.
Ouch. Yeah, I agree with what he said.
Sign us again.
Just gamble responsibly, everybody. Don't bet on KD.
Right?
Don't bet on.
Ouch.
Ouch. I caught some foam in there.
Yeah?
I caught some foam in there. Well, chugging with the fellas. Suns win. Let's start the pod. Go on the road and win Game 3. Now take that 2-1 series lead. But it brings me to my first question, which I've nearly asked Matthew like 4 times already.
Matthew, I got to ask.
So, Matthew, I got to ask, obviously,
yes,
It's a 5-point victory for the Phoenix Suns with no Paul George, no Kawhi Leonard. How are you feeling? Does this meet or not meet your expectations of what this game should have been?
You have no idea with this team still. I'm not upset about the whole thing. I think it was a tough one to get through, but then you realize when they win, you feel better because you're up 2-1 in the playoffs. It's the fucking playoffs, so everyone's going to play definitely hard, even without Kawhi. This team just needs more time, and that's in the back of my mind. So as I'm watching, I'm like, just get these wins. That's all that matters, right? Just to go up 2-1 on the Clippers. It's going to be a rough ride for a little bit, and thank God this team that the Suns are playing are the Clippers, because I feel like any other team might have their way this series. That's how it's looking. But the defense from the Clippers will pick up in these playoff games. So You think I'm in a bad mood? I'm not. I'm feeling good. I'm fine. It's just a few things. It just doesn't look good, but we'll go over it later.
Well, there's aspects of this, obviously, that don't look good. And I think that, yeah, it's definitely what we're going to talk about. I want to talk about the positive before we talk about kind of the negative and what we saw and the adjustments that this team needs to make if they want to not only continue to win in this game, but continue to win in the playoffs and hopefully ultimately win a championship. But I'm a little melancholy at times when I take a look at that final score, and then I realize, that the Suns were up 13 pretty much the entire second half in this game, and they were getting to the free throw line for the first time like ever. We shot 46 free throws tonight, Matthew. 46. That is 5 more than any free throws than we shot the entire regular season.
Thank God.
Yeah, and you why is that? Well, Kawhi Leonard's not playing in this game. Obviously, Paul George is out for the entire series. So what does Ty Lue tell his team to do? His team that is full of physical, speedy, and big wings, right? So he's the clear path of coaching is we're going to overplay everything and we're going to be as aggressive as we can. Every time the ball is going into certain guys, we're blitzing. We're constantly looking to try to utilize our smaller lineup to disrupt the Suns' offense. And for the first half, it kind of worked, right? The Suns carried, a 3-point lead into the second half. I think it was 54-51 at halftime. And you're like, wow, what the hell is going on? Now, both teams are turning the ball over. It was very sloppy basketball. But the Clippers were dictating pace because of their speed and their aggression on the defensive end. What started to happen in that third quarter was the Phoenix Suns, they got the benefit of the whistle finally, because what we were seeing was essentially the Clippers allowed to play physical. We did a halftime space on Twitter. If you follow @SunsJam on Twitter, join us during halftime games or the halftime of games, and we're going to go live, Matthew and myself, and we're just going to talk about what we saw in the first half. And one of the things I mentioned is like how Russell Westbrook was playing defense on KD. It's very Draymond Green-esque, right? Draymond Green can play against bigs like Ivica Zubac, DeAndre Ayton, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and he can be successful because he's smaller and he gets up in them and under them, and he disrupts them from the interior, and he's allowed to play a little bit more physical than other players at his size and stature. That's how Russell Westbrook has played Kevin Durant, and he has disrupted him. And you take that and you multiply that by every player on the team and the way that they're attacking and the way that they are being allowed to play physical, it kind of caught up with the Clippers in that third quarter. The Clippers were outshot from the free throw line in the third quarter, 21-4. The Suns had 21 free throw attempts to their 4. And in my opinion, they were valid because they were there was a bunch of those that could have been called in the first half. So I understand that is probably going to be a narrative that we'll hear for the next day until we play on Saturday. But the Suns used their defense, the Clippers attack and the Clippers defense against them, ultimately held them accountable to it. Mm-hmm. And then from there, they grew that lead, and then a couple turnovers late, next thing, a couple threes by the Clippers, and it's a closer game than it probably should have been.
Yeah, I mean, the rest probably went into halftime. They're like, well, wait, hold on. Kawhi is out, and we have to realize we don't want the Clips to move on to the next series. That's how a lot of people are going to look at this game, because the Suns and Coach Monty are usually the team to come on after the game and just hit the press conference and say one thing and walk out to get their team pumped up and try to get on the refs back. Now it's going to be the Clippers in a way, but the thing that drives me kind of crazy is like how the refs, and this is awesome, the Suns got to the line and they were fouls. The only thing about the NBA that does drive me nuts is like, if you're going to call a physical game and let them play, why switch it up in the second half? Did they just make the adjustments? Because it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, these guys are coming to the game. They're like, oh, we're getting away with stuff. We can play physical. And I'm not saying like, oh, thank God, like they called the fouls. They did, like, thank God they did. But on the Clippers side of it, it's like, we're still playing physical and we're getting called for fouls now. And they definitely were. But it kind of sucks it went that way. And, the Suns, that on the other side, really quick, I want to say with Westbrook and also Highland, like those are two guys that kind of flip flop too in the first and second half, where they were in their own way. We talked about on Twitter Spaces, and then after that, after halftime, they came out and they actually played pretty good. They played ball still, and Russell's, I swear to God, he still had a few turnovers to cost his team the game. But those guys kind of turned it on too. So it kind of like flipped where we got the foul calls, but then those two guys stepped up. And of course you had freaking Powell just going off. No one could stop that guy. Even the last three he had where he got fouled and that one went in, I knew it was going in.
Oh, yeah.
And of course it was Craig too, because Craig had that one dumb foul after the free throw that was missed by Ayton where he sent Westbrook to the line.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude, like Craig's having a hard time on him, but no one can guard that guy either. So the whole foul thing, though, thank God, the one game we definitely needed it, we got it. For sure.
Well, and the reason I think, I don't think the officials went in at halftime and said, oh, shit, we don't need the Clippers to advance. But I think essentially what happens is in the second half, when you're playing like that and that aggressive the entire first half, guess what? Fatigue starts to set in. And when fatigue sets in, error begins. And that's what happens is those things that they were doing from a technical standpoint that were successful for them in the first half began to, due to fatigue, be just a tad more aggressive. And the Suns were actually getting the calls on it. And from there, they were allowed to open up their offense a little bit. Devin Booker has 13 points in the third quarter, and they took advantage of it, ultimately scoring 40 points in that quarter. But the Clippers scored 34. And that's the thing. Is like the Clippers played their ass off in this one. Norman Powell, like you said, he had it going. And the flip side of this is only Devin Booker really had it going in this game. That's the challenge that we as Suns fans see. I mean, again, we can't have nice things. We can't sit there and be truly happy with a win because we know what the Phoenix Suns were lacking, and it was cohesion across the board outside of Devin Booker. Devin Booker doesn't score 45. This team doesn't win, and we're having a completely different conversation. There's, a shit Ayton game, and we'll get to that. Kevin Durant flustered the entire time, not getting to his spots. And I mentioned this on Twitter Spaces, the way that the Los Angeles Clippers and their wings and the size and their speed, it disrupts him. And I honestly think that this is good for KD right now because when we get to the next round and we have to play against like Denver due to their different deep type of defensive style, it's going to be more conducive to Kevin Durant versus Devin Booker, I feel. So yeah, this can be a frustrating game because without two of their stars, but without their star who's been in the series thus far, they still were a cohesive. The Clippers are a team. They're playing like a team.
Oh, yeah.
The Suns aren't necessarily playing like a team.
No, and I don't want to get into the whole, if Kawhi and Paul George played this series, they'd beat the Suns. That's, of course, going to be the narrative. If we went out 4-1 and Kawhi never plays again, be like, well, of course, the injuries. That's why they moved on.
Yes.
But, if George was playing in Kawhi, these games would still be close. I don't know if the Suns can win the series. I think the Clippers would definitely be favorites over them just because of the way we've watched KD play this series, where he doesn't seem like as dominant of a player, just like Booker, or Booker's just like levels above that guy right now. So if you were to have those guys play the same way and then Paul George plays, then yeah, maybe the Clippers win, but it'd still be a tough series. This isn't like a runaway for the Clippers. It's just guys step up. And we've always talked about how the Clippers are a well put together team. Well, what happens when two guys go out? You have guys that can fill their shoes. Unlike the Suns, who don't have anybody, if Booker goes out or KD goes out, to really fill those shoes, and you'd be screwed right away.
Yeah, you'd get a lot more Shamet and TJ Warren.
A lot more Shamet.
And
missed him in the second half.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was like, where's Shamet go? Like, Monty, I was hoping you were going to play some more Shamet. But you have to absolutely give this game to Devin Booker and what he did. He's now averaging 36.3 points per game on the series. He gets the first drop tonight. Big Dick Booker. Booker in this game, like I mentioned, 45 points. He was 18 of 29 from the field. 29 shots for 45 points. I'm with it. 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. And again, in a game in which the Phoenix Suns shot 46 free throws, how many free throws did Devin Booker have, Matthew?
6?
He had 7.
I don't know. 7?
7. That's it.
I love how you ask me those questions because I don't look at the box score very much. You just let me just ask him because I know he's over you.
Well, exactly. And I want to know what it felt like. Like you're telling me what it felt like, and I'm telling you what it actually was. He also had 7 rebounds in this game. He had 3 assists. He had 3 steals, 2 blocks, including a big one on Russell Westbrook late in the game. But this was another fantastic Devin Booker playoff game. In his young career, Devin Booker has scored now 40 points in 5 playoff games. Okay. Now here's a fun question for you. How many playoff games has Devin Booker played, including tonight?
36.
35. Wow.
Oh, damn. I'm on a roll tonight.
Yes. You're one off everything. So in 35 career playoff games for Devin Booker, he scored over 30 points now 14 times, which is tied for second most in Suns history with Amari Stoudemire. Charles Barkley's first overall with 16 30-plus point games. And he now has 5 40-point games with this 45-point performance. God bless Devin Booker in this game, man.
Yeah, just God damn it. I don't know what to say. Like, sorry, Lord. Like, I didn't mean to say that, but I don't know what else to say. Like, I end up with like loads in my mouth. I'm like, did it just come back up or did it come in my mouth? I don't even know. I don't know what to do with myself
right now. What the fuck are you saying? There's children in the car.
I don't know what to say about the guy, but he's like the bully walking down the hallway at high school where it's just like no one wants to mess with this guy. He even, like I said, like the way he's walking around, it's like, you want to fuck with this? Like no one wants to. This guy's obviously the best son of all time, but with these games, it just cements it even more because he can't be stopped. If game 1 was like these 3 games or the last 2 games, obviously I feel like they're pretty comparable. He just didn't hit those shots in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's just hitting everything. Like when he hits that and 1 to start the second, where he's still playing and you think he's going to play 48 minutes. Yeah. It's like, wow, that and 1 where it bounces in, you just know it's his night. But I feel like every night's going to be his night. He just has definitely, I want to say like 4 or 5 levels above anybody else on this team right now. He has a bunch of old dudes and guys, like I said, that play like infants on this team and guys that are just not confident to be on the floor that won't even play in the second half because Monty had enough of Shamet. You know what I mean? So he's surrounded by that. It's a rough team around him right now. So it needs more time to gel, obviously. But I'm not saying we're going to waste this because I think they're going to be fine. But the way he's playing right now, this is just like, if you don't have Booker on your team, you're not going to win a title. Like he's playing like Giannis type basketball right now. I know he's not the same guy, same size, but he's just on that level right now of Giannis.
Elite is the best way to describe how Devin Booker's playing thus far in the playoffs. I mean, he has gone to a level again that I didn't know that he could even hit. It's the shot making is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What he's doing, that 3-pointer in the corner, it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my, yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, I mean, just unreal. His aggression, his ability to get to the line on that, a couple really key and ones. His blocks, his steals, like his defensive energy, like he is playing. He is fucking out there just dominating in every fashion. 45 minutes played. He the only 3 minutes he sat was like that 2.5 minutes at the in the second quarter, and like I think a minute somewhere in the second half. But
he didn't want to come out either.
No, hell no, he didn't. He wanted to play the whole thing. I mean, and they mentioned it on the Bally Sports broadcast. We've watched this guy since he was an infant in the NBA, and it's all come together. And again, like when you don't think he can go to another level, boom, there he is. So as you mentioned, as we look around the roster, he's going to need some assistance because as much as I love Devin Booker doing this is round 1. My wife had a funny question for me tonight at the end of the game. She goes, well, if the Suns win this, they go to the finals, right? I go, no, there's 3 more rounds before you win a title. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, the shit goes till June if you win a title. Like, that's why it's hard. Because not only is the playoff basketball and the level of physicality and intensity amplified in the postseason, which we saw tonight, That's what the Clippers did, is they amplified their play. They overplayed their defense. They were trying constantly and consistently to disrupt the Phoenix Suns offense through their physicality. But you have to win 4 7-game series in order to win a title. It's survival of the fittest. And Devin Booker's the fittest. But there's some guys around him who they're just not fit, Matthew. They're just not fit. Deandre Ayton in this game, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 35 minutes played, 4 of 9 from the field. We talk a lot, and when we reference Deandre Ayton throughout the season, how a night like tonight, well, it's like, if you just get him the ball, you get him the shot attempts, good things will happen because he's an efficient player. And as I mentioned, 4 of 9, not horrible. He was fucking terrified of the ball tonight, Matthew. I've watched a lot of DeAndre Ayton. I've watched his entire career, 5th year in the league. I haven't seen him in the postseason, especially, as passive, as scared, as fumbly. There was a play in the second quarter where they threw the ball to him. He was 17 feet from the basket with Mason Plumlee on him. He's sitting there and he's holding the ball. He's like going back and forth with it, like shaking, looking for the guy. He even turned to do anything. And then in the third quarter, he gets the ball. Zubats was 5 feet off of him. He had he could drive to the basket, try to make something happen, or at least take that jump shot that he takes because he's a pussy to run. And he like instantly just tries to pass out of it. And that was the theme tonight of Ayton. And like, I don't want to sit here and unabashedly bash Ayton tonight, but I want to say, if he plays like this tonight, this team is not going to go far. Because what did we say at the beginning? Or at least I said at the beginning before the series, he is an X factor. He's a guy who is going to get those opportunities because of the double teams, because of the space that's going to be provided to him. And if he's terrified to even hold the fucking ball, and I'm not even talking about the Butterfinger plays on this. I'm saying like when he actually had it in his hands, he was scared what to do with it, man.
Yeah, it's tough. You had him as X Factor, and I usually do vote him as Finals MVP every year because we need him to be.
We need him to be.
Definitely need him, to be at that pace. I don't think that he will be because of Booker. But Brutus92 says, slip crack into Ayton's drink. Yeah, he needs something. Tonight was bad. But it's funny how quickly he kind of makes up for things. Like in the third, when he was actually cutting and rolling with KD on a few plays. Right? It's like, because a lot of the whole game is like him just kind of watching. He's standing and watching. He's not getting his body on anybody to box out. He's just watching on offense, watching KD. But the thing is, KD needs for him to move too. And I said on the Twitter spaces, I'm like, Sarge was always a connector kind of guy. Yes. It'd be nice if Ayton could if he's not going to be like dominant inside, like he'll never be, then I wish he would just be the connector where he can help out Book and KD to go get the ball, grab the ball, find some spacing, stop hiding behind your defender and help these guys out and then move the ball around if you want to. That's fine. Because coming in the series, I'm like, I don't care really what he does. Just don't fuck up and don't be like a menace, just
in South just Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I wrote in my notes. And I'm like, just don't do that. And he kind of is. He's a guy right now, like a Shamit in this game where he's going to just destroy us from the inside out. And if he's doing that, obviously it's going to be very, very bad. We don't need him to be crazy, but just know what to do. This is why during like the season, this is why you work on this stuff. So you know what to do in these situations. Yes, the pressure's coming. Yes, there's little guys around who you can't even box out or grab the board over. And every time someone hits you, you're like, oh, my face, ow, my fucking chest. Like Bones is just like, he has his way with him down there. That's tough. That's why they had the 5 guards out there, because Ayton doesn't matter. He was shot today, dude. He didn't care, and he doesn't care, and that's what's so frustrating.
100%. Elite Jamster in the chat. Walter Lazo, thanks again for following along. Says Clippers play small ball, and Ayton couldn't capitalize. And I wrote the Bright Side of the Sun recap, which got it done just in time. Is perfect, and I referenced that in it. It's like, the reason why the Clippers couldn't or stayed in this game, the reason why they were effective in this game is because they were allowed to play small ball lineups. Whenever they put those small ball lineups in there, like Nicholas Batum's playing the 5, they could get out and run and they could be even more aggressive defensively. It's because the Suns couldn't burn them on it. The Suns can't just drop it into Ayton and be like, yo, back them down, score. wash, rinse, repeat. AD can do it. Giannis can do it. Joel Embiid can do it. Nikola Jokic can do it. DeAndre Ayton can't fucking do it. Period. Exclamation point. I don't care. Ayton defenders, you know, and again, like I'll say this premise, like we all love Ayton. We want Ayton to be great. We want him to be a championship contributor to this team. But you have to call a spade, and you have to recognize what he is. And that's how through this season, as we've navigated these post-game podcasts going live after every single game, midway through the season, I just said, you know what? Let's just accept who he is. But accepting who he is taking what his talent is and accepting what his faults are. And his faults are just that. You can't run the game through him through the post. You simply can't do it. And when the Clippers are running that 5-out shit, they're going to capitalize because Ayton offensively can't. Now he won't get played off the court defensively, right? But offensively, he's nothing. He's a zero in those situations.
Yeah.
Situations in which you could take advantage of what his physical skill set possesses, he can't give it. And as you mentioned, you know, again, during the regular season, that's why Suns fans would become so frustrated with his performances. It's because you want to see that progress because this is when it matters. And 8 defenders are like, don't worry, man. When the playoffs come around, let me tell you something about DeAndre Ayton, okay? When the postseason comes around, he's going to fucking turn it on. He hasn't turned it on yet, man.
Not at all. And it's been, even like the last game is very mediocre. His shot blocking presence isn't there. Like there's Booker, whoever's guarding anybody going to the rim, they actually make attempts to try to block a shot. I know Book had one late in the game against Powell, but anytime anyone's going by Ayton doesn't care. He like puts his hands up. He's like, the way he's playing right now is like, well, you paid me to be here. I'm here. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to be open to any suggestions on how to get better this whole season. And then now it's all coming out and everyone could see it. And it's frustrating the players on the court every time a bucket's given up underneath the rim, a lay-in. You can see Chris Paul and even Durant just like, fuck, what? Like, at least jump. At least jump. How many fouls? Did we have 0 fouls tonight? Like, at least jump and attempt to make it hard on the guy driving to the rim.
He had 1 foul. DeAndre
yeah, and that's not even, I don't even
foul.
care. You have Busy, and I don't care, play Jock too. Like, we just need a physical presence. If he's not going to do anything else, at least just have a physical presence down there like Bismack, majority of the game, who can just roll with his own player and not take anybody into the center. Like, he doesn't suck anybody in anymore. No one cares. Like, really quick, Durant, he was wide open. Or, I'm sorry, DA was wide open underneath the hoop late in the game. Durant pulled up for a jump shot instead of hitting him for the alley-oop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust DA either.
Yeah.
Like, no one trusts you now, man.
Yeah, and that's the precedent you set by your lazy play because they don't know if it's a play in which you're going to be engaged and go for it or a play in which you're just going to be boneheaded or not expect the pass. And kudos to Kevin Durant because he's trying to get DA involved in that third quarter. He's doing everything he can. He's like, maybe if I start this guy up, you know, but it's sad that he has to do that. You look at Norman Powell in this game again. He was 7 of 12 from beyond the arc, so that accounts for 21 of his 42 points. But he had a lot of points in the paint as well because DA down there was literally like he was afraid to touch anybody or something. You know, points in the paint, they outscored us. 58 points in the paint for the Los Angeles Clippers in this game to the Suns 54. 58 points. Some of that has to go on DA and his lack of shot deterrence. I mean, we talk about that again. The people who are very pro DA, it's like, yeah, but both sides of the floor. It's like, yeah, but what's he giving us on the second?
He hasn't been that guy.
Like, Bismack gives us almost 0 on offense, but I trust him like a motherfucker on defense. He's blocking shots. He's rebounding the ball. He's securing rebounds when they come down, not batting them up to himself, you know, like it's a hot potato or it's a balloon that he's trying to keep afloat. It's just, it's ridiculous. Shout out to Black Sunday in the super chat, dropped $5 to the Suns Jam Session podcast. We appreciate it, Black Sunday. He says, how is it possible that Ayton is regressing? He's so bad now. And you were seeing that consistently on Twitter. That was the conversation. It's like, dude, is he getting worse? And maybe Radio Flow is right. 420 got to Ayton.
Yeah, it could have been something, you know? I'm sure you can play pretty good when he's high. I feel like a lot of these guys play high, right?
Yeah,
they always
but
talk about
DA high's got to be like really slow.
I love the regressing.
Stephanie Jackson in the chat. Ayton is very soft, just like my teddy bear. And it's a good way to kind of describe.
Mine's full of tacks, so not as soft.
Your teddy.
Keeps me up at night. But I like how, regressing, dude. He is, why? Because he started off the season, and it's not like he's just had this one bad game. It's been all playoffs. He started out the season feeling disrespected for not getting the money, and then that just kind of just tumbled into everything where, he's in trade talks again. And we trade the wrong guys, obviously, but we had no choice but to trade Mikal and Cam. That was the hardest part, getting rid of those guys and keeping Ayton. Sorry, but all right, I think I'm done.
Yeah, but at the same
He'll
time,
come out and have a good game, maybe.
But I hope so. We all hope so.
We need him to.
Yeah, we want him to.
Why
But,
not?
like, fuck, man. Fuck. I wish I could watch DeAndre Ayton just be like satisfied in the playoffs. Like, that was a good game, man. That was a quality game.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, what if Monty Williams in Game 4 starts Bismack Biyombo?
I would.
I mean, now
Just
don't get
do
me
it.
wrong. The Clippers would target him a couple times, potentially. But man, would that set a fucking message to Ayton? Be like, dude, you're not starting tonight. We're up 2-1. If we go up 3-1 in the series, I say you absolutely do it. If Ayton has another one of these like half-ass stinkers where you throw him the ball and he's just like, he's terrified of the ball. He's like, oh shit. It's like hot potato. It's like somebody tosses him like a bomb and he's afraid it's going to go off in his hands.
Because he
like,
doesn't have any experience with it, man. He just doesn't know what to do. It's like
Yeah.
simple little moves here or there and then pass out, or else take your turnaround jump shot. Just do something. Like, we've seen it. Just
Brutus92 in the chat, 25 and 15 game incoming.
He should be
God,
30-20.
I hope you're right.
He should be 30-20.
No, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say what he should be, but I'll say if he does that, man, I'll be excited to see that. I really will. I'll be really excited to see if we get something like that from him.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
28 points tonight for Kevin Durant on 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and was 11 of 11 from the free throw line. Now, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the pod, but I truly believe that this is one of those series that's simply a tough matchup for him. I see a lot of people in the chat and some people on the old Twitter talking about, he's 34, he's old, he doesn't have it anymore. A shooter's a shooter. And that's like Ray Allen played in the league till he was like fucking 40 because he could shoot. KD will be around. I just think that this matchup's tough for him. And even with a tough matchup, he's scoring 28 points. I did mention in our little short that we did today that he was going to go for 45. I just picked the wrong superstar.
Yeah. Everyone always forgets about Booker, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
I think we just kind of hope that because we need him to be that guy for sure, especially with his team. When they're playing the 45 minutes a game, you need him just to get into a little bit of a groove, because right now he's not really, he got to the line 11 for 11. That's good. But it's just when he gets the ball, you don't really know what you're going to get from him. It's not like I don't trust him at all, but it's like I'm not really feeling a positive outcome just because he's having a hard time, just even like bringing the ball up and then he gets double teamed, getting out of that. Really big issues. He gets the ball anywhere on the court. He just has to keep it high. Guys are coming around him. He's having a hard time getting out of that too. He just looks really, really, really uncomfortable on the court with whatever he's doing out there. So I don't know. I'm not too worried, but if Book wasn't playing this way, man, we'd be in trouble because we rely so much on KD where he's just not coming through yet, right? I think it's going to come. I really do feel like it's going to come. It has to. We don't have a choice, right?
Yeah, we have to give it time. It's like I said, it might not necessarily even be in this series that we're going to see a great KD game. It might be something where, again, like I said, you play the Denver Nuggets, and that's when we're going to have a quality performance from him because this matchup is just tough for him. But again, I think that it's going to make him better because of it, and it's going to make him more fluid and have more confidence for when we play another team, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's I know it's a bad matchup for him, but it's a good matchup for the Suns just to take on this Clippers team right now.
It is. And, again, we know who he is. He's Kevin Durant. You just got to give it a little bit of time, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Just give it a little bit of
time.
Could
have had Kyrie just not even make the playoffs.
Exactly. I was actually thinking about that today. I'm just like,
yeah, it makes you feel a little bit better.
Exactly. Now, I do got to give a shout out to Kevin Ray in this game because, and I got to give KD some props because he had a couple dunks in this game. And it's like
I like
finally, like
this.
if you watch the pre or the intro that we have, I know when you listen to it, you hear it, but when you watch it, you can see that we always have dunks. And like I got a dunk from KD now, but the best thing was Ray, because when when Kevin Durant dunked it, he said he took it to the boom room. Let's play.
Yeah.
It.
Nearly tripped up by man. Up ahead to Durant. And Durant takes him to the boom room.
To the what room?
The boom room.
Oh, I've never been there before.
Yeah,
That was the best part of the game. I was dying laughing.
Isn't it the boom boom room? Though?
Yeah,
I mean
the boom room. The boom
Yeah.
boom room. Yeah, that's from like what's the name of that?
I
Life
forget.
with Eddie Murray or Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. And they always
yeah.
talk about the boom boom room.
Yeah.
And and this one, so he's sitting there calling it the boom boom room or the boom room. He takes him to the boom room. I'm like, oh
I
my
love
God,
it though.
man.
You know, he's like, he said it again, and the third time he said, he's like, the boom room. I said, it's just like, stay behind it.
He's like, yes,
It's
the
a new
boom room.
t-shirt.
And Eddie's like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, dude, yes, I'm gonna make a t-shirt of that. Kevin Durant was
Yeah,
be like the boom
room.
the boom room. So Black Sunday again, $5 in the super chat. We truly appreciate it, and it's a great observation. I completely agree with this. They're letting Clippers defenders be very handsy on KD, and he's getting frustrated with it. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
getting
is.
frustrated watching it because it's true. They're allowing him. Kevin Durant's long, man. He's long. His arms are, and they're letting him like. I mean, guys are swatting at the ball when he's holding it 5 feet away from him. So it's clear that they're creating that physical contact. And Thomas Dennett, also $5 in the super chat, says, people, KD recognizes that the torch is being passed. I'll take 40, Book 25, 30 KD.
30 points. Yeah.
Yes.
40
for Book, 25 to 30 from KD. Yes,
yeah,
correct.
But we're gonna get. I swear, we're gonna get the 40 and 40 multiple times in a series if we can move on from this one.
It's a coming. Trust me. Trust me, Jamsters. Like, trust the process. It's coming. It's definitely coming. So, you were hanging out in the little subreddit.
Yes, sir.
Jacob, this time that was you. Okay, good.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, Matthew, what was happening? You know, I see that you're rocking the sideburns. You have the Elvis look going on. So you were hanging out in the Clippers subreddit. What kind of things? I assume there was a lot of talks about the officiating.
There was, yeah. Actually, towards the end, they said these refs are as soft as Ayton. Jesus Christ. That's them saying it, not me.
That's a great statement.
Come on, NBA. Don't make it so obvious, lol. Yeah, whatever. They were so physical. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least we got the calls, because usually we don't get the calls. If Marcus saves us, Marcus Morris, we should burn the entire subreddit to the ground. And that shot to end the third, I'm like, oh, great. Here we go, right?
Dude,
the buzzer beater.
You know, I was pissed about
I always
it.
think about you.
Devin
buzzer
Booker,
beater, though.
Devin Booker had a great layup right before that. And then, yeah, Marcus Morris goes down, hasn't played the entire fucking series, and hits like a fadeaway bank shot from the corner and hits it and ties it at 27. I'm like, of course, Marcus Morris gets one little jab in at the Suns, and that's the way he does it.
He always, I thought there would be more. He always just looks so good. Like, his shot always looks great.
Against the Suns, he does.
Yeah. Remember, Booker scored 70 points as a 19-year-old. I just love that comment. That just makes you feel so good. Suns fans, I swear, if we never win a title, it's going to suck. But having Booker is just...
But at least we had a game in which he scored 70 points as a 19-year-old in a loss to the Celtics.
All right, we need Pat Bev to stop Book. I guess I need Pat Bev back on the team.
Okay, to stop Book in what way? Physically and hurt him?
I was going to say this game would have been more entertaining if Pat Bev was there. How many times he would have shoved the Suns in the back. I mean...
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, take Highland out. I'm tired of his no defense. And pull up threes with 20 seconds left on the shot clock. That's in the first half. Definitely him and Russ were just working together to throw this game for the Clips. And you know how we can slow down Booker? Get Kendall to make out with Bad Bunny on the Jumbotron. First of all, Kendall, you're going out with Bad Bunny, really? And I know, is that guy attractive? But he looks so fucking stupid and lame. Like, you go from Booker, humble guy that's just badass, to a guy that's just phony.
Yeah.
He looks like a phony. I don't know if you've seen what he looks like, but he looks...
That's Hollywood, man. You should know that, Elvis.
And that's it.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
The point guard. Man, Chris Paul looking old. We knew it was going to happen. Like, I think
Lord have mercy.
we talked about him last game and how he looked in the fourth and how it was big. And what he did in this game was what he did in game one. Instead of settling for like that nice mid-range 10-footer, like he just wanted to go a little bit further and drive, and he would just miss. And he missed some big shots in the fourth, man. I'm like, fuck, Matthew's going to be right on this one.
Yeah,
Can't let that happen.
I mean, freaking, what was he? 5 of 18?
5 of 18 for Chris Paul.
Crazy.
1 of 8 from beyond the arc.
This is why
1 of 8 from beyond the arc, Matthew. That's some Josh Okogie against the Bucks kind of numbers.
Yeah. That's why I said Okogie can just replace them. My favorite lineup right now, the only ask for one thing is if Ayton can step it up and be like he was 2 years ago, then you go out there, you have Book and KD, and then you have Craig and Okogie out there on the wings. It would be so much fun, the cutting, the shot making around the rim where he can actually make a bunny. Like Craig and Okogie can make those shots. Yeah, so some Bad Bunny shots up there. Chris Paul is just missing the easy stuff. Like anytime he's going to the rim, I'm like, he's not going to make it. I don't trust anything he's doing around the rim, and it sucks, man, because his defense is better. I mean, when you have Ayton behind you, you're doing the best you can, but just watching him, I'm just like, nothing's going to go in. Nothing's going to even hit the bottom of the net. It sucks.
Yeah, and it's a little frustrating because it's expected, but it's still frustrating because
I know.
Again, you hit 2 or 3 more of those shots, CP3, and this is a completely different game, and they're giving it to you. That's what sucks, is they're giving him, like you said, that 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. I'd say 6 of those are wide open. Like
he's always open.
He's looking at the seams, he's checking the wind, he's looking up at the suites. Oh, there's Bad Bunny, and then he misses it, just brick. That's got to change. That's got to change. And one thing that we mentioned on our Twitter space is there's only one member of the Phoenix Suns who's currently out right now, and that's Cameron Payne. And is Cameron Payne's absence so impactful for the Suns? Because not only with Chris Paul, and who, by the way, played 41 minutes tonight, but not just by Chris Paul potentially tiring out with this game on, day off, game on, day off, which we know he doesn't do well. I mean, since he joined the Suns, he's had a hard time with that. But with no Cameron Payne, now when Chris Paul does leave the game, it's Ramalama Ding Dong, Landry Shamet, who only played 4 minutes tonight, by the way. We got a lot of Damian Lee in this game. And then, as you mentioned, like Josh Okogie's kind of coming in, they're spelling that lineup and saying, okay, now Booker, now KD becomes the playmaker. Do you think that Cameron Payne, who my guess is will play next game, he was shooting around. I thought he was going to play. He was questionable for this game. He was shooting around. Everything looked good. Looked like we were going to get some Cameron Payne back. Do you think that his reinsertion into the rotation is going to really affect this Suns team? Because the Suns bench had a total of 18 points tonight. The bench for the Clippers had 39. We're getting killed on the bench, man. Killed.
Yeah, our bench does not believe in themselves at all. First thing that hits my mind when you talk about Cameron Payne coming back is just wild card. Like, you don't know what you're going to get from this guy, what he's going to do on the court. You will have a better game than anybody else really on the bench besides Busy. Lee did come in and hit some big shots because he played more than 3 minutes, like TJ.
Yeah. Yes.
He missed his first shot, and thank God they left him in. Like, just give the guys a chance.
That's what Monty does. You miss one shot, you're like,
you're out. Oh, well, you must suck. I don't know, man.
Yeah, TJ Warren today, 0 for 1.
I want Payne. I want Payne definitely to come back, but it's so weird, the dynamic of this team where you just have guys that are just so down on themselves. When they come out on the court, you just know it's just going to be a negative instantly. I'm talking about offensively with Shamet, and then Payne might be that guy some nights too. You just never know. I just hate trying to add some other guy in here who just doesn't believe in himself. I mean, he tries to. He talks to himself and yells at himself a lot on the court. But to me, when I'm watching him, I'm like, you don't believe in yourself, man. You don't pick it up and go to the next play. You bring yourself down, and then
At times.
we can't trust you. Yeah, I don't know.
At times. Having Cameron Payne is kind of like having Russell Westbrook. But Russell Westbrook is a starter, and because they do the same thing. They get in their own heads. They have some really good plays. They have some boneheaded plays. But I almost wish that we have him in there to mop up some of those minutes. And I didn't realize that we'd be missing Cameron Payne as much as we are because of the way that it affects the rotations, because Monty Williams has been very fickle with his bench. And again, and I wrote a piece on Bright Side of the Sun about this, about how the Phoenix Suns and the way that they're playing Devin Booker and Kevin Durant is for championship aspirations is not good. If you look at the last 10 NBA Finals MVPs, okay, and now obviously that means that you've navigated the entire playoffs, you've made it to the finals, and then you've won the finals. If you look at their minutes played in the first round, this is what you get. Going all the way back to 2013, LeBron James played 36.8 minutes in the first round. 2014, Kawhi Leonard played 32.7. Andre Iguodala, obviously more of a bench guy, but he played 28, and he was the NBA Finals MVP in 2015. LeBron James in 2016 is the only member of this list who was over 40 at 41.2. KD in 2017 in the first round played 28.2 minutes. KD in 2018 in the first round played 37.2. Kawhi Leonard 2019, 34.1. LeBron James 32.9 in 2020. Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2021 had 36.3. Steph Curry last season had 30 minutes played in the first round. So again, the challenge that I have through the first now 3 games of this series is the amount of minutes that these guys are playing. Not because I don't want them to win, because you gotta sit guys and what have you. But if you look at it, Devin Booker's playing 44.2 minutes. Kevin Durant's playing 43.5 minutes. What I'm stating is it's not sustainable to play these guys that much if you want to win a title. You have to have them rest at some point, or they're just going to break down. It's physics, man. This level of intensity. So maybe having Cameron Payne back means that Devin Booker and Kevin Durant can take 3 or 4 more minutes off a game, and he's the facilitator out there for a while. You can have some Chris Paul and Cameron Payne lineups out there because Cameron Payne is going to force the issue, and he can take over some of the distributing qualities. But to your point, when Cameron Payne comes back, he's a guy who can get in his own head. So if he has a bad game or he has a bad couple shots and he's hanging his head up, and then Russell Westbrook's running by him, it could be detrimental to the success of the team. So it's just one of those things to watch out for as this series progresses.
Yeah, I think, once the things start to click on the court, I don't think you're going to get these minutes as much because you'll be able to put up those bigger leads and kind of trust your, I almost said it, trust your bench maybe to help out. But this is just kind of different. I feel like this year, right? You had the week off. You get KD on a trade midseason. Now you're expected to win a championship. You don't have time really now to minutes restrict at all. I think right now it's just about doing as much as you can,
I hear you.
Playing these guys as much as they can because you have to get the victories early. And also, if you get them early, you can end the series early by Tuesday or by Wednesday of next week. I think it's Tuesday. Then you'll have more rest too. You know what I mean? These guys have had rest this year, and I don't think Book's gonna play till his butt falls off. Man, this guy, he doesn't give a that's why I love Book, because he'll play a whole game. He doesn't give a fuck. And then
he's a
KD
competitor.
will probably do the same thing, obviously. So I think it's just a different year. Different kind of year. We need them to play a lot of minutes.
We do. That's the other side of this argument is we do. And the other thing, and the other side of this argument, I guess, is if you have the talent level of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant playing next to each other, there are technically plays where they could quote unquote take time off because the other one is running the offense and scoring with a great efficiency and carrying the team for stretches. So that 44 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 of those minutes aren't as stressful as normal minutes would be, but that's really trying to fine tune and be like, well, you can see right here, the third play of the fourth quarter, he took the playoff. So that's not technically a minute. It's you just can't get into that. You're purely going off of statistics. So Let's hand out some Jamstar and let's talk
do
about
it.
some adjustments in Game 4.
Jam Star of the Game.
All right, Jamsters, a reminder, if you are watching along live, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the metrics. It lets everyone know where you've been hanging out to watch the original and best post-game podcast on Planet Orange. And again, if you're listening, especially on Apple Podcasts, 58% of you listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Scroll to the bottom, hit 5 stars, write a little review, write the review, and we will read it right here. And right now is the time to do it because it's playoffs and everybody gives a shit.
Yeah. And it could just say poop. We'll read it.
I will read poop online. I will say it. I will say shite.
Yeah. You know what?
What?
Crazy Luigi, sorry for being late here.
Where have you
I
been?
can't believe it.
Where you been, Crazy Luigi?
If
We've
you're
been
not
talking
early, you're
about you.
late.
We've been talking about you the whole pod. Like, I really have a great point, but I don't know what Crazy Luigi's going to say.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm just kidding, but yeah, just get here early, get in line, and that way we don't have to worry. Like in the fourth quarter, just get everything set up and be here. Never listens again. Jam Star is
It's like I was sleeping. Wake up.
Sleeping
Devin
in,
Booker.
yeah.
It's Devin Booker. We all know it was Devin Booker.
Fine, Booker.
On both ends of the court, man. He was fantastic tonight. Absolutely fantastic tonight.
Fine.
So, yeah, fine. Deal with it, okay? Next game, game 4, a 12:30 p.m. Arizona time start. What are we looking for? What adjustments are there going to be? Is Kawhi coming back? Let me say something real quick on Kawhi. This is where the land of social media gets kind of, annoying. Obviously, when Suns fans hear that Kawhi Leonard's not playing, we're not rejoicing his injury, but we're happy that we don't have. If you're a Clippers fan and it's the Western Conference Finals and Chris Paul's out for 2 games with COVID, you guys weren't like, oh, man, that sucks. I really wish Chris Paul was going to play. I was looking forward to that. You're like, oh, sweet, dude. We have to play against Chris Paul? Sweet. It's exactly what was happening today on social media where Suns fans were just like Suns Geek literally was apologizing for a tweet because
was he?
Yeah.
I saw his tweet, but he was apologizing for it. That's why he just took go on Twitter.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, don't apologize. It's like we're not cheering that Kawhi was hurt. We're happy because we don't have to play against someone who's that elite. Like I said, just like Clippers fans were happy when CP3 was out with COVID in the 2021 Western Conference Finals. Like, we don't want anyone to get hurt, man. But like sometimes it's it just is what it is.
Always going to happen.
Always going to. I mean, we're without campaign.
I know. And you should have saw the subreddit. They were talking about good thing Payne's not playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So recognize what it is. But looking at the next game, primary adjustments. What do you think? What do you want to see? What do you want to see when we talk about Saturday afternoon? Engage DA?
Yes, that. But I just want to see Kevin Durant kind of just put some fear into the defense. Just when he's on the court, when Book's out there, it's like, dude, there's no way you can stop this guy right now. I kind of want to see KD move towards that more. I know the matchups are bad, but you are KD. Just like when people say, Fallen Founder, when you say Plumlee's a good center, and that's why Ayton can't do what he's supposed to be doing. I'm just joking. You said something like that, but it doesn't matter, dude. You're Deandre Ayton. You should be able to do this. You should be able to go up against a guy like Plumlee and have your way. That's the way we see it, and it should happen. But KD shouldn't be an issue, right? Also, Chris Paul just don't shoot as much. But then also if it's going in. But that's what I worried about last game. I'm like, well, if it's not going, is he going to pass it up? But he didn't. He just kept shooting. So there's a few things, man. Obviously, Book's going to show up, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd like to see from the Suns, and this is it's a double-edged sword, if you will. If you take a look at how the Phoenix Suns have shot the ball from beyond the arc thus far this postseason, they are shooting it at a 37.1 clip. Now, that being said, if you take a look at the totality of the teams currently in the playoffs, that's 9th out of 16. But the thing is they are easily shooting the fewest amount of three-pointers. They're shooting 23.3 three-pointers a game. The next lowest team is the Knicks, and they're shooting 29. So they're pretty much shooting 6 more three-pointers than the Suns. Now, I get what the Clippers are doing defensively is they're out there on the perimeter and they're living out there because they're bum rushing Booker, they're bum rushing Kevin Durant. And again, this is where Deandre Ayton's got to fucking come in, man. Is we have to do some inside out shit with this offense to free up these 3-point shooters, and they 3-point shooters got to knock them down because this is a team that likes to shoot the 3 ball in the Clippers, right? They are they're shooting 37.5% from beyond the arc themselves, and this season they were the 3rd best 3-point shooting team in the league. So we need to spend a game just trying to throw some haymakers from beyond the arc. We got the shooters for it. We're just not shooting them. Now, we're hitting the mid-range. I mean, what? In game 2, they had 42 points at the mid-range, the Suns did. Because, again, the perimeter's being pretty well guarded, so they're getting to the mid-range and navigating the screens with the way they want to. Another thing that I think is going to happen in that game 4, we'll see a lot more of that pick and roll with Chris Paul. We didn't see a lot of Chris, but we will.
No,
It worked in game 2. They didn't even go to it tonight. They didn't even utilize it. But I'm not even saying Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DA, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DA. Like,
yeah, Booker should just always have the ball. Booker needs to be Luka in this game. I mean, he is basically. The passing obviously isn't there really because he's just playing ISO and taking everybody off the dribble. But
you can utilize that pick and roll to pick apart matchups, and they didn't have to do that tonight. That's the nice thing.
Yeah, is it too slow? Like the perimeter, like when we're talking about this, just jack it up. I just think when you have KD, even his passing is very suspect. When you throw it to Chris Paul, it's difficult for him to move the ball around quick. I feel like at times, I just feel like the ball movement's really slow with those 2 guys right now. It's just, you know what I mean? Like there's no flow to it. There's a lot of hitch in it. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's the pestering in the defense that the Clippers are playing with. I mean, this is the 17th best defense, and they're forcing a lot of they've been imposed their will a lot in this series.
Yeah,
it's 2-1 Suns, and they've imposed their will a lot.
Oh yeah. That's what happens to a soft team. Nate Keene, I just want to say, hey Matt and John, why do you think Terrence Ross ain't playing? I don't know. Like that's why you brought up the 3-point shot. I'm like,
easy answer.
Put that guy in. Why defense?
No, it's an easy answer. Again, go back to what I was just stating. The Clippers are not permitting the Suns to shoot the 3 ball, and that's what Terrence Ross is good at. He's not going to rebound well. He's not going to play quality defense. If his one thing is to be able to shoot the 3 ball, and they're literally not permitting Phoenix to shoot the 3 ball to the point where they have 6 less 3-point attempts per game. Some of it's by offensive design, but some of it is being forced by the Clippers' hand, the way they're guarding the perimeter. You're not going to bring in a guy like the fact that Damian Lee got off some clean 3s today was a fucking miracle. Because
he was wide open.
Yeah, for 2 of them he was wide. 3 of them he was like wide open. So the reason Damian Lee plays is because you're not going to play Shamet. You need somebody smaller to play the guard spot that Damian Lee / Shamet would normally play. Terrence Ross is typically going to play the 3 or small ball 4 for you. I'd like to see some Terrence Ross. I definitely would.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just to see, give him like 10 minutes, like Damian Lee. Damian Lee played 11 minutes tonight, and he got a chance to get a rhythm going.
Yeah, no, I want to see Ross play, but I'm serious. Like the passing itself, I think I know the Clippers are playing crazy defensively, and sometimes it looks like 6 guys out there at times. But just the passing when it comes to doubles, it's just taking forever to get out of it and find the right guy. But then also, the Clippers are making up their ground fairly quick. But I just, Ross did more too of making mid-range.
That's what it does.
I know, but Ross did a good job at finding a spot at times. You know what I mean? He can make a move and get a good shot.
Again, I'd rather have him out there than Damian Lee because he can hit the mid-range. Like Damian Lee inside the 3-point line, you're just like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, he's not trying to do any crazy stuff, thank God.
Yeah,
he's just shooting.
Terrence Ross is just going to spot up and shoot. So, again, maybe that's a trick that Monty's going to play. I mean, TJ Warren came out there tonight, and we're like, oh, shit, okay, TJ's out here. And then, it looked like they were targeting him a little bit. He played 4 minutes. He was 0 of 1 from the field. He had 1 foul and he was gone. Like
bad body language though. The one thing is like he doesn't look like he believes in himself at all when he's out there. Especially that shot. Usually he's the crazy shot guy, but I mean that one, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Oh, TJ. So, anything else I missed from your notes? Anything you want to talk about before we get out of here tonight, Matthew?
I think Biz was awesome. Played more busy, obviously. I know Kogi was a little off today, but
Yeah.
Play some biz, man.
Biz. Biz.
Yeah, busy. Like I said, I say if you go up 3-1 in this series, if we can win game 4 on Saturday, I say you start busy in game 5 just to send a message to Ayton. Now, I'm not saying you keep him out there for the first 8 minutes of the game. You bring DA in at the second timeout. Put him out there for 5-6 minutes, just see what happens. And DA's got to think about that.
Yeah, but he won't because he doesn't want to learn. He doesn't. The way I see DA out there, he complains a lot when guys are telling him what to do. He's like, I know I'm doing it's like, shut the fuck up, man. Just listen and learn for once, dude.
Yes. I know the type.
Do Aiden watch again?
I know the type, man. Like as a manager.
Hey, I was the same way at that age.
I know the type.
I know it was the same way, but I wasn't making that much money.
Don't you tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, but you're not doing it. You say you know what you're doing, but you literally are doing the exact opposite.
Just listen.
All right, Jamsters. Well, this is a reminder on Saturday. We are going to be at Blue Agave in North Phoenix / Scottsdale for a Suns Jam Session watch party. If you want to come join us, we'd appreciate it. We'd love to see you. Make sure you give them a call at 480-419-6375 to make a reservation. We're going to be watching the game there. I got a bunch of stickers to give out to people, so make sure if you're there, you come get a sticker. Yeah, cool. And then Matthew and I we're going to be doing the pod live from Blue Agave, so try to shut the fuck up in the background while we're recording.
No, let's be loud. Make John upset because
don't piss me off. I already talked to the manager there. I'm like, dude, make sure because normally what they'll do is after the game they instantly throw the music on.
Yeah,
and then it ruins our audio. And I'm like, hey, man, just make sure there's no music on after the game. He's like, done, dude. I was like, thank you.
Let's show him who we are. Like, if it happens, let's just be like, we're never coming back here again. You lost our business.
No, I know the guy very, very well. He would.
Yeah.
He better not. Knowing him, he might do it just to be a dick to me. Because everyone who knows me, for
I'll
some reason, wants to be a dick to me because they think it's funny. I don't know what it is.
Well, you know what? Maybe because you get pissed off sometimes easily. Who knows?
Interesting. Stephanie Jackson said, I tried making a reservation. They keep hanging up. I'm gonna let the manager know that. I'm gonna text him tomorrow. But hey, people are making reservations. Maybe there's so many of you guys trying to make reservations that they're just like, oh shit, they keep hanging up. I don't know. So. Oh, well, sleep tight, Jamsters, or if you're listening to this tomorrow, enjoy your day. This is Lights Out Phoenix, 92.3, Power 92 FM. We'll see you on Saturday, coming live from Blue Agave. So until then, let's go Suns, baby.
Go home and love your family.